Greetings and welcome to Georgian Crossroads. This is Byrne, your host, working feverishly into the night, the day before New Year's Eve, to give you one last glimpse of Tbilisi. And today what we're going to do is something very, very mysterious. There is a house called the Anna Madatova House, which is on Chonkadze Street. And it's a very mysterious place. And so I'm going to take you there. We're going to look at it. I've got some images that I've found. And there are different rumors about why the house is there, ranging from the prosaic to the very mysterious. So come along with me. I first noticed the Anna Madatova House from my friend's stairway, and I looked across and saw this strange building outside the window, and you could just get a glimpse of it. There was a cedar tree in front of it, and yet when you went outside, this is all you saw. There's a very high tower, a spire on the other side of this massive wall. But what was it doing? My friend told me that it was the house of a woman named Anna Madatova, which had some legends around it, some of which are just that, legends. But yet it was built during a period where Tbilisi was, I would say, the Art Nouveau period in Tbilisi. If you were to come to Tbilisi between 1890 and about 1921, to be precise, it would be a very fascinating architectural town. Unfortunately, graffiti like that tells you a bit of what's happened since post-Soviet independence. But nevertheless, you're walking along these kind of anonymous streets, and you're right under it. You don't see it. So walking along this old wall, it's like a castle, and you come to a doorway, which is just up ahead here. You look inside, and what do you see? Well, there's the door, it's shut. But I'm seeing more of it now than I did when I first saw it. It just looked like this, and there was no way to get in. But you look up, and you get the idea that there's a building back there. And so I decided to walk back up the street. And try to get up above. And again, coming in close, you get these hints of something. So I went back to where the graffiti was, which unfortunately blights too many really beautiful places like this. This should be restored and not defaced. But I looked up, and through the trees, just barely make them out, there is a building back there. So I went back a little further and found a stairway that goes up to a street above the building, and this stairway runs alongside, well, not exactly alongside the building. There's a little wooded area here on the side of the hill, but I could just barely get a glimpse of it through the trees. If you look really carefully, you can see it there, but it's just in silhouette. And I stopped at a place where there was a park, and this is perfect. I mean, someone took the time to make beautiful art, and then someone tags over it. Nice street art tagged over by someone who just wants to prove something to themselves. That's the problem when you don't have a strong sense of your own worth, but that's another issue. There's the building. Do you see it? So I walked through the woods, tried to get closer to it, and I could just barely see it. I had to finally climb a tree, so I'm further up in the tree. There's my hand. And I can just barely see it, but I can't quite see the tower. But that's as close as I can get from this angle. I would try a different angle in a bit. This is what's so mysterious about this, is that you can't see it from the street, and yet it's an amazing building. And I never did quite get into the structure itself. Now here's a better glimpse of the tower. And if you look carefully, the top is kind of falling over. That is, it's bent, the little spire there. And this is like a lookout way on top. And that's as close as I ever got to the building. But I still had to try another way. So I went back. This gives you a better view. It's taken a little bit later when there are a little bit fewer leaves on the trees. But you're only seeing the very top of the building. There's a legend that was made by a man who was grieving for his daughter, and but that legend really has no merit. But this is actually on the road behind it. And that's all you can see from the other road above it. And so I came back down on another day, and this is actually on the door going in. All of this ornate scroll work that was part of the Art Nouveau period. And it really looks like a fascinating piece of architecture that's been abandoned. And down below is the word salve. And it was open, and this is looking up the stairway again. Oh, it's like road to nowhere. I'm sorry. This is a road to somewhere, and you shouldn't deface it. You should repaint it and make it look better. I didn't go all the way up these stairs. And the reason I didn't is because there were workmen up there who were doing something, and I wasn't sure how far it would go for me to go up there and stick my nose into it. But I'm told it's been turned into apartments, and maybe even part of it is a hotel. But I'm afraid it might be just really clumsily turned into apartments. Now, if you go to this visitgeorgia.com, you can see more pictures that are better than the ones I took, and a little bit of a story about it. But again, there isn't much that is said. It's just that, nice building, left in ruins, and what ruins they are. But I recommend, if you're here, to try to look for the building. You will find it as mysterious and interesting to kind of try to get in there and go up the stairway, see how far you get. I decided not to go back and keep trying to go in. But here is where it is on the map. The Anna Madatova House. And it's just off Chonkadze Street, Daniel Chonkadze Street. And this is the satellite view of it. And it looks like a rather big place, don't you think? Now, if you want to get there, what I suggest you doing is going back down to Liberty Square and click down to Liberty Square here. Liberty Square will be on the upper right of the screen, and you can walk 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 blocks up the hill and get a look at this yourself. So what do you think? Kind of a mysterious place. You can hardly see it from the road at all. It's like a castle on Chonkadze Street. And when you're in Tbilisi, walk up from Liberty Square and go look for it. It'll be worth your time. And Sololaki, the area it's in, is well worth spending time wandering around in. And we'll eventually come back and do more odds and ends of architecture here in Tbilisi. But for now, I just want to wish you Gilasoft Ahal Tsels. Happy New Year. And Nakwamdis. Come on back. We'll have more. We'll see you again. Droebit.